I thought I was saving him. For 6 months, I brought him my leftover dinner from the mansion where I work. I bought him a coat so he wouldn't freeze in this shack. I loved him because he had nothing. But today, I realized he has everything. My boyfriend isn't a struggling laborer. He is the son of the man I work for. He is the heir to a $10 billion empire. And he's been watching me struggle this whole time like it was a game. Why would the most powerful man in the country hide in a crumbling shack? Was it a test of my love or a cruel joke? Today, the mask falls off. This is the story of how a billionaire's lie destroyed the only person who ever truly loved him for who he was, and the moment he realized that some secrets are too expensive to keep. Welcome back to Prime Tale, where we uncover the hidden truths and emotional twists behind the world's most powerful families. If you believe that true love should never be built on a lie, hit that subscribe button and join our community of story seekers. Now let's go back to the beginning, to the rainy night where this beautiful life first started. A torrential downpour outside the massive, gold-gated Sterling estate. Elena is struggling with 3 heavy grocery bags. One rips, and apples roll into the muddy gutter. Elena, no, 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 not today. Action. A man in a tattered, oversized hoodie and muddy boots steps into the frame. He starts picking up the apples. Leo, as Marcus, here, let me help. These bags weren't meant for one person. Elena, thank you. I'm Elena. I work just up the hill. Are you okay? You're freezing. Leo, I'm Marcus. I live just over that ridge. Don't worry about me. I'm used to the cold. Elena, no one should be used to this. Narrator. Elena looked into his eyes and saw a kindness she hadn't found in the cold marble halls of the mansion. She didn't see the watch tan line on his wrist or the way his posture was too straight for a man who carried bricks for a living. She only saw someone who needed help. Back to the present. Elena is standing in the shack, clutching the magazine. The door creaks open. Leo walks in, but he's different. He's wearing a tailored suit, his hair is perfectly styled, and he's holding a set of keys to a Ferrari. Leo, Elena, what are you doing here so early? Action, he stops. He sees the magazine in her hand. The silence is deafening. Elena, who are you? Leo, I can explain everything. I was just Elena. You were just what? Testing me? Watching me cry because I didn't have enough money for your medicine, while you had millions in the bank. Action. She throws the magazine at his feet. Elena, don't ever call yourself Marcus again. Visual. Elena runs out into the rain. Leo stands alone in the shack, the luxury keys in his hand looking like trash in the dirt. Cut to black. A rapid-fire montage of the final moments of Episode 1. Elena throwing the magazine, the rain pouring down, and Leo standing in his expensive suit inside the rotting shack. Elena, they say money can't buy happiness, but I learned it can buy a very convincing mask. I spent months falling in love with a ghost. A man named Marcus who didn't exist. Now the man who does exist, Leo Sterling, is standing in front of me, and I don't recognize a single thing about him. Action. Close-up of Leo's face in the shack. He looks desperate, the polished billionaire exterior cracking. Leo, Elena, wait. Just listen to me for 1 minute. Elena, I've been listening to you for months, Leo. Or should I call you sir now? The next morning, Elena is back in her maid's uniform. Her eyes are red, but she is scrubbing the floor of the grand ballroom. The camera pans up to show the scale of the room. Gold leaf, crystal chandeliers, and silence. Narrator. Elena wanted to quit. She wanted to run and never look back. But the reality of her world didn't care about her broken heart. She had rent to pay and a younger brother to put through school. She was trapped in the lion's den. Action. The heavy oak doors open. Leo's father, Arthur Sterling, walks in. He is cold, sharp, and terrifying. Arthur, girl, you missed a spot near the pedestal. And tell the kitchen the coffee was lukewarm. Again. Elena. Yes, Mr. Sterling. I'm sorry. Action. Leo enters the room. He is dressed for a board meeting. He looks at Elena, his heart breaking, but his father is watching. Arthur. Leo, stop staring at the help. We have the merger to discuss. These people are invisible for a reason. Don't forget that. Visual. Leo clenches his fists. He looks at Elena, pleading with his eyes for her to look at him. But she keeps her head down, scrubbing the floor at his feet. Later that night, Elena finds an envelope tucked into her locker in the staff quarters. She opens it. Inside is a check for $50,000. Action. There is a note attached in Leo's handwriting. This isn't a bribe. It's the medicine money you spent on me, with interest. Please don't leave. Narrator. Elena looked at the check. It was more money than she would make in 5 years. It could change her life. But as she looked at it, she realized something even more terrifying. Action. She looks out the window and sees Leo standing in the garden, looking up at her room. Elena, he thinks he can buy my forgiveness. But he doesn't realize that by sending this, he just proved he still doesn't know who I am. Action. Elena takes a pair of scissors and slowly begins to cut the check into pieces. The grand dining room. Leo is sitting at a long table, looking miserable. Opposite him is Isabella, a glamorous socialite in a designer red dress. She is the woman Leo's father wants him to marry. Isabella, you've been distracted lately, Leo. Ever since you stopped your little social experiment in the woods. Was the shack not cozy enough? Leo, it wasn't an experiment, Isabella. It was a mistake. Let's leave it at that. Action. Elena enters the room to clear the plates. Her hands are steady, but her eyes are fixed on the floor. Isabella. Oh look, it's the little saint who brought you soup. Tell me, dear, did you really think a prince like Leo would stay in a tower made of trash for a girl like you? Action. Leo slams his hand on the table. Leo, that's enough, Isabella. Elena. I thought I was helping a man who had nothing, Mississippi. I didn't realize I was helping a man who had everything but a soul. Will that be all for the dessert? Narrator. The air in the room turned to ice. Elena had broken the first rule of the mansion. Never speak back to the guests. Later that afternoon, Elena is in the laundry room when she is cornered by Arthur Sterling, Leo's father. He isn't shouting. His voice is a deadly whisper. Arthur, you think you're special because my son played a game of house with you? You're a distraction, and distractions get removed. Elena, I don't want his money, Mr. Sterling. I just want to do my job and be left alone. Arthur, is that so? Then explain why your brother's scholarship was just reviewed by the board this morning. It seems there was a clerical error. Unless, of course, you can convince Leo to marry Isabella and stop this nonsense once and for all. Action. Elena pales. She drops the linen she was folding. Elena, you're threatening my brother? He has nothing to do with this. Arthur, in this world, everything is connected to me. You have 24 hours to make Leo hate you. If you don't, your brother will be back on the streets by Monday. Narrator. Elena felt the walls closing in. The poor man she loved was a lie, and the rich man who replaced him was a cage. The Sterling mansion is transformed. Hundreds of wealthy guests in tuxedos and gowns are milling about under massive silk tents. Leo is at the center of it, looking like a ghost in a perfectly tailored suit. He is holding a glass of champagne, but hasn't touched it. Arthur, smile, Leo. The press is watching. And look, your friend decided to show up after all. Action. Elena walks into the light of the gala. The music seems to stop. She isn't there as a maid tonight. Arthur has forced her to attend as a guest to humiliate her. Isabella. Oh look, the help is playing dress up. Tell me, Elena, did you steal that dress from a lost and found, or did you use the $50,000 Leo gave you? Elena. I used his money, of course. Why else would I stay in a dusty shack with a man who can't even chop wood properly? A girl has to get paid for her time. Action. Leo flinches as if he's been struck. The guests begin to whisper and chuckle. Leo grabs Elena's arm and pulls her into a secluded corner behind a row of rose bushes. Leo, look me in the eyes and say that again. I don't believe you. The woman who sat with me in the rain, who shared her only meal, she wasn't looking for a payout. Elena, then you're a fool, Leo. You wanted to play poor man, and I played kind girl. We both lied. The difference is, I got what I wanted. I have my brother's tuition, and I have enough to leave this dump of a city. Leo, I would have given you the world, Elena. You didn't have to lie. Elena, the world? From a man who had to pretend to be a beggar just to feel something? You don't know what the world is. You only know what your father lets you see. Action. She reaches into her small clutch bag and pulls out a handful of the shredded check pieces and throws them at his chest. Elena, keep your scraps, Leo. I'm done with this game. Narrator. As she walked away, Elena felt her soul breaking. She had saved her brother, but she had become the monster Leo thought she was. Elena is walking toward the exit of the estate when she sees a black car waiting for her. The door opens, but it's not Arthur Sterling's driver. It's a man she doesn't recognize, a sleek, younger man with a sharp scar across his eyebrow. Stranger, Elena? My name is Marcus. The real Marcus. The man Leo Sterling stole his identity from to hide in that shack. Action. Elena stops dead. Elena, what are you talking about? Stranger. Leo didn't just hide in a shack, Elena. He hid there because he was running for me. And now that you've broken his heart, you're the only person who can help me finish him. Visual. The camera zooms in on Elena's shocked face. In the background, we hear the sound of the gala's fireworks exploding, lighting up the sky in mocking colors. A close-up of Elena's face in the back of the mysterious black car. The city lights blur past the window. The man with the scar sits in the shadows next to her. Elena, I thought the worst thing Leo Sterling could be was a liar. I thought his secret was just money. But as the real Marcus spoke, I realized the shack wasn't a romantic hiding spot. It was a bunker. Leo wasn't playing a game with me. He was using me as a human shield. And now, the past he was running from has finally caught up to both of us. Action. The real Marcus slides a tablet across the seat. It shows a police report from 10 years ago. A dark, industrial warehouse. The car stops. Marcus leads Elena inside. On the walls are photos of the Sterling family, but they are covered in red ink. Marcus. Leo told you he was a prince looking for love? Typical. The truth is, 10 years ago, my father was the lead architect for the Sterling Empire. He found out they were using substandard materials in their low-income housing projects. He was going to whistleblow. Elena, what happened to him? Marcus, he disappeared. And the man who signed the order to silence him wasn't Leo's father, Arthur. It was Leo. He was 17, proving to his father he could be ruthless enough to lead. Action. Elena shakes her head, her voice trembling. Elena, no. The man I knew he couldn't. He was kind. He helped me when I dropped my groceries. He cried when I brought him soup. Marcus, he was hiding in that shack because I was hunting him. He used your poverty as a disguise. He knew I'd never look for a Sterling in a place that smelled like old wood in desperation. Back at the mansion, Leo is sitting in the dark library, surrounded by empty bottles. He looks destroyed. Elena enters, her heart pounding. She is now working for Marcus, but her feelings for Leo are a tangled mess. Leo, you came back. I thought you were halfway to another city with your payout. Elena, I realized I left something behind. And I wanted to ask you something. Before I was the help, before the gala, was any of it real? Or was I just a convenient place to hide? Action. Leo stands up, his movements heavy. He walks toward her until he is inches away. Leo, I started that life as a lie, Elena. I went to that shack because I was afraid of the person I was becoming in this house. But when I met you, I forgot I was a Sterling. For the first time in my life, I felt like I deserved to breathe. If you want more money, take it. But don't tell me what we had was a game. Action. Elena looks at his desk. Hidden under a stack of papers is a file with Marcus's name on it. She realizes Leo is still tracking him. Elena's phone vibrates in her pocket. It's a text from the real Marcus. The police are 5 minutes away. Plant the evidence in his safe now, or your brother goes to jail tonight. Action. Elena looks at Leo, who is looking at her with pure, unfiltered hope. Then she looks at the wall, safe behind him. Narrator. Elena was standing at the edge of a cliff. If she planted the evidence Marcus gave her, Leo would go to prison for a crime he committed a decade ago. If she didn't, her innocent brother would pay the price for her mistakes. Action. She reaches into her pocket and feels the cold metal of a USB drive. Elena. Leo, can you get me a glass of water? Action. As Leo turns his back, Elena moves toward the safe. Her fingers are hovering over the keypad. Visual. A sudden loud crash echoes from the front of the mansion. The front doors are kicked in. Shouting fills the hallways. Leo, what's happening? Visual. Elena looks at the USB, then at the door, then back at Leo. She has 1 second to decide his fate. Red and blue police lights strobe against the marble walls of the Sterling foyer. Officers are swarming the house. Elena is standing in the library. The USB drive clutched so tight in her palm that her nails are drawing blood. Elena, VO, they say the truth will set you free, but tonight, the truth feels like a firing squad. I had 1 second to decide. Do I destroy the man who lied to me, or do I save the brother who is my entire world? The USB drive in my hand is a death sentence for Leo. But as the police burst through the doors, I realized that in this house, no one is truly innocent. Action. The library door is kicked open. Detective Miller, a gray-haired man with eyes like flint, enters the room. Behind him is Arthur Sterling, looking outraged. Arthur, what is the meaning of this? You can't just barge into a private residence without a warrant. Detective Miller, I have a warrant for your son, Arthur. Leo Sterling, you are under investigation for the disappearance of David Vance 10 years ago. Action. Leo looks at Elena, then at the detective. He doesn't look surprised. He looks relieved. Leo, it's okay, Father. I've been waiting for this day since I first stepped into that shack. Elena, wait. You can't just take him. He isn't the one you want. Detective Miller, move aside, miss. We received a tip that the evidence is in this room. Action. The detective moves toward the wall safe. Elena's heart stops. She looks at the USB drive still in her hand. She didn't plant it. The detective opens the safe. It's empty, except for a single piece of paper. He pulls it out and reads it. His face turns from professional to confused. Detective Miller, this isn't a confession. This is a deed of trust. Action. Leo looks at his father, Arthur, who has suddenly turned deathly pale. Leo, I knew Marcus was coming for me, Elena. I knew his father didn't just disappear. I spent the last 6 months in that shack not to hide, but to find the files my father buried in the foundation of that old property. I wasn't the one who signed those papers 10 years ago. It was my father, using my name. Arthur, Leo, shut your mouth. You don't know what you're saying. Leo, I found the original documents, Dad. The ones with your actual signature. I moved them from this safe an hour ago. They're already at the precinct. Narrator. The room fell into a deafening silence. The real Marcus stepped out from behind the police line, his face a mask of shock. He had spent 10 years hating the wrong man. Arthur Sterling is handcuffed and let out of his own mansion. As he passes Elena, he leans in and whispers, Arthur, you think you won? Check your phone, girl. I told you everything is connected to me. Action. Elena pulls out her phone. A video message is playing. It's her brother, sitting in a dark room. He isn't at school. He's tied to a chair. The father goes to jail. The brother stays with us. Unless Leo Sterling gives us the codes to the offshore accounts by midnight. Action. Elena looks at Leo. He is being escorted out for questioning as well. He doesn't know about the video. Elena, the lie was over, but the nightmare was just beginning. To save my brother, I have to do the one thing I promised I'd never do. I have to become a Sterling. Visual. Elena looks at the grand staircase. She isn't the maid anymore. She is the only person left with the keys to the kingdom. The screen is dark, filled with the ringing sound of an explosion. Slowly, the image of a burning pier comes into focus. We see Leo on his knees, frantically digging through smoking debris. Elena, they say that fire purifies everything. In 1 second, the lies of the Sterlings and the bitterness of the Vances went up in smoke. I spent my whole life thinking that money was the wall between me and happiness. But as I lay in the dirt, watching the only man I ever loved risk his life to save my brother, I realized the only thing that ever truly mattered was the truth we told in the dark. Action. Leo pulls Elena's brother, unconscious but breathing, from under a fallen beam. 3 days later, the sun is setting over the city. Elena is sitting in a hospital room. Her brother is asleep in the bed, his hand bandaged but safe. Narrator: the Sterling Empire didn't fall because of a bomb. It fell because of a girl who refused to be invisible. Arthur Sterling was facing life in prison. Isabella's family had fled the country to avoid the scandal. The real Marcus was in custody, his heart broken by the truth of his father's betrayal. Action. There is a soft knock on the door. Leo stands there. He isn't wearing a suit. He's wearing the same tattered hoodie he wore the night they met in the rain. Leo: I didn't know if you'd want to see me. I'm not sir anymore, Elena. I've stepped down from the company. I've turned it into a trust for the families my father hurt. I have nothing left but the clothes on my back again. Elena: why the hoodie, Leo? Are you going back to the shack? Leo walks to the window, looking out at the city he once thought he owned. Leo: the shack was the only place I was ever honest. I went there to find evidence against my father, but I found you instead. I thought I was saving you, but you're the one who saved me from becoming him. Action. He pulls a small, simple wooden box from his pocket. It's not the massive diamond from the gala. It's a ring made of simple silver with a small, clear stone. Leo: I don't have a mansion to offer you. I don't have a name that means anything. I only have the man I was when we sat on that dirt floor sharing soup. If you can forgive the billionaire. Marcus wants to know if you'll stay. Elena: I didn't love the billionaire, Leo. And I didn't love the lie. I loved the man who picked up my apples in the rain. Action. Elena stands up and takes the ring. She doesn't put it on. She looks at her brother, then back at Leo. Elena: but I'm not that girl anymore. I'm the woman who took down your father. I don't need a savior, Leo. I need a partner. A final montage. We see the shack being torn down, and in its place, a community garden is being planted. We see Elena's brother walking into a classroom, looking happy and healthy. Some stories end with a wedding and a crown, but the best stories end with a new beginning. Visual. Elena and Leo are standing on the same street corner where they first met. It's raining again, but this time they are both holding the umbrella. Elena: we didn't build our life on a gold-gated mansion. We built it on the truth we found in the mud. Because at Primetale, we know that the greatest treasure isn't what's in your bank account. It's who stands beside you when you have nothing at all. Action. They walk away into the rain together, the camera panning up to the city skyline as the lights flicker on. The smoke from the dock explosion clears, but instead of police, a group of unmarked tactical vehicles arrives. They aren't there to help. Elena: we thought Arthur Sterling was the head of the snake. We thought if we cut him off, the poison would stop. But as the smoke cleared the docks, I realized Arthur was just a mask for something much older and much more dangerous. My brother is safe, but the man who took him wasn't working for Marcus. He was working for my own mother's past. Action. Elena finds an old, burnt locket in the debris. It's exactly like the one her mother left her. While Leo recovers in the hospital, Elena begins to dig into her own family history. She discovers that her mother wasn't just a maid at the Sterling mansion. Elle was the original whistleblower who Arthur Sterling silenced. Action. Elena confronts Arthur in his prison cell. He laughs. Arthur: you think I'm the monster? I was the one keeping them away from you. Now that I'm in here, there's no one left to protect the invisible girl from the debt her mother owed. Elena returns home to find her door open. Standing in her kitchen is a woman who looks exactly like her, but 30 years older. Woman: hello, Elena. I've been waiting for Arthur to fall so I could finally come home. Elena's mother, Sarah, isn't dead. She's been in hiding, running a rival corporation that has been slowly dismantling the Sterling Empire from the inside. She was the one who funded the real Marcus, and the one who triggered the explosion. Sarah offers Elena a choice: join me and rule the city, or stay with Leo and burn with the Sterlings. Leo's struggle. Leo, now penniless, realizes that Sarah is planning a hostile takeover that will leave thousands of innocent workers homeless, the very people Elena cares about. Elena stands at a press conference. Behind her is her mother. In front of her is the world's media. Elena, I have an announcement to make regarding the future of Sterling Global. Action. She looks at Leo in the crowd. He shakes his head. At the press conference, Elena doesn't join her mother. Instead, she reveals that her mother's corporation was the one using the substandard materials all those years ago. Sarah framed Arthur. A high-speed chase through the city as Sarah tries to flee. Elena uses her knowledge of the city's backstreets from her time as a delivery girl to corner her mother. Leo and Elena work together, using the shack as a base to broadcast the final proof of Sarah's crimes. Elena and Leo sitting on the steps of the now empty Sterling mansion. It's being converted into a school for underprivileged children. Elena, the secrets are dead. The empires are gone. All that's left is the dirt we stand on and the people we chose to keep. My mother wanted me to be a queen, but I realized that true power isn't about standing above people. It's about standing with them. Leo and Elena start a small construction firm dedicated to honest work. No mansions, no shacks, just homes. Action. We see a montage of the past 11 episodes. The rain, the apples, the gala, the explosion. Final dialogue. Leo, do you ever miss the drama, Elena? Elena, every time it rains. But I'd rather have a leaky roof with you than a gold ceiling with a liar. A young girl drops her groceries in the rain on the same street corner. Elena and Leo both step forward to help her. They look at each other and smile. Elena, because every story needs a hero. And sometimes, the hero is just the person who stays to help you pick up the pieces. A drone shot of the new school Elena and Leo built. Suddenly, the windows shatter simultaneously. No explosion, just high-frequency sound. Elena, we thought we were building a new foundation. We thought the ghosts of our parents were finally at rest. But we were wrong. There are people who own the land, and then there are the people who own the history. The architects have arrived to collect a debt we didn't know we owed, and they're starting with everything we built. Action. Elena receives a black envelope with a wax seal of a compass and a square. A group of international financiers, the architects, reveal that the land the Sterling mansion sits on was never truly Arthur's. It was leased for 99 years, and the time is up. They want to turn the entire district into a high-security private city, displacing thousands. Action. Elena and Leo are forced back into the corporate world to fight a legal battle they are destined to lose. They realize the shack was built on a specific ley line the architects need for their new project. Leo, the shack wasn't just a hiding spot, Elena. It was the only piece of land they couldn't touch because it's technically a historical landmark my grandfather registered in secret. A mysterious man in a white suit walks onto the school grounds. He doesn't look like a villain. He looks like a saint. Man, Ms. Elena, I'm the one who designed your mother's original whistleblowing file. I didn't give it to her to save the world. I gave it to her to destroy Arthur. And now, I need you to do the same to Leo. Action. He hands her a photo of Leo's grandfather, standing next to her own grandfather. They weren't enemies. They were partners in a secret society. Cut to black. Elena and Leo standing in the middle of the shack, which is now surrounded by bulldozers. The architects are ready to tear it down. Elena, this is where it all started. A lie in the rain, a bowl of soup, and a man who pretended to be a beggar. Today, we aren't fighting for a mansion or a company. We're fighting for the right to exist in a world that wants to pave over our hearts. The architects think they own the future, but they forgot one thing. You can't build a city on a foundation of lies. Elena reveals the grandfather protocol. The land wasn't leased. It was held in a trust for the children of the workers. Because Elena and Leo have combined their lives and their legacies, they are the joint trustees of the entire district. Action. In a high-stakes boardroom showdown, Elena uses the architects' own bylaws against them. She doesn't just save the school. She turns the entire Sterling estate into a public park and low-income housing project that can never be sold. The twist. The man in the white suit is actually Leo's older brother, thought to have died years ago. He was the one testing them all along to see if they were worthy of the trust. The final scene is a mirror of episode 1. It's raining. Elena is walking with her brother, who is now a young man graduated from the school. Action. They pass a man struggling with groceries. Elena stops to help him. Elena, power isn't about what you take. It's about what you leave behind. My name is Elena, and I was once just a maid who looked at the floor. Today, I look at the horizon, and the view is beautiful. The camera pans out to show the city. The Sterling mansion is gone, replaced by a vibrant, glowing community center. Leo is there, waiting for her.